Welcome to the World Curling Tour coverage of the 50th International Bernese Ladies Cup. We're going to show Team Feltscher against Team Hansen from Finland. And here's the lineup. In lead position with the Swiss, Carol Hohlwald, Franziska Kaufmann second, Irene Shorey third, and Binja Feltscher at skip. And Team Hansen, we've got Christina Lestander, Janina Lindström, Maria Hansen, and Alina Virtala. And Christina Lestander, of course, being Swiss. And we're here coverage all weekend with the World Curling Tour event and in cooperation with the World Curling Federation, World Curling TV. And wonderful place here. And here's the team again, left to right: Binja Feltscher, Irene Shorey, Franziska Kaufmann, and Carol Hohlwald. And we have from left to right Elina Virtala, Maria Hansen, Janina Lindström, and Christina Lestander. I think she's playing lead position here. Ice temperature minus 5.8. Head ice maker, or 4.8, sorry, 5.8 would be a little cold maybe. Head ice maker here, Stefan Rittlisberger. So conditions are perfect. And we see the wonderful picture of this great big 8-sheeter. One of 3 8-sheeters in Europe. With me I've got Richard Harding. He knows all these things. Richard, welcome. Welcome to Switzerland.
Nice to be here, Armin, and looking forward to another weekend of competition. Last week was the Perth Masters, of course, in Scotland with 32 men's teams, and this week 32 women's teams playing a triple knockout, which means it's not till you've had 3 games where you've lost 3 games that you're out. And it runs in 3 leagues, really. A division, then if you drop a game you go to the B and then to the C, and then if you drop a game at that point you're out.
And here we see Anita Yaki, the organizing committee chairman, chairperson, chairwoman. Welcoming the teams. This is the first draw for this team. We've already had the top 16, top half of the draw. They already took place earlier. They started at 3 this afternoon, and this is now the first time for the bottom 16. Here we see Sidorova. 5 former world champions playing at this event this weekend, and another handful of Olympic teams also. Here we see 1 world champion, former world champion, 2-time world champion. So we can't really hear, so we're not quite sure what you're saying. And here we see a young Swiss team from Schaffhausen. So some new faces too, Richard, this weekend. So that's quite interesting. A lot of good young teams coming up. And this is a Thursday evening here in Switzerland. This tournament goes right through to Sunday. We're going to show about 11 games, I believe. Right through Sunday. We'll be here for the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals on Sunday. Delayed start here because of the introductions. Giving a little speech there, Richard.
Yes.
You can choose the...
And this is the 50th anniversary
of
the Bernese Ladies.
Long history, long tradition. The first winner in 1968. sure what her first name is, but it's her last name is Leuenberger. And she was from Langenthal, and I think it went. 1980 was the first event where they actually had international. So since 1980, it's been an international competition. And some big name winners on this list of Colleen Jones, Annette Norberg, Lucia Ebneter, Elizabeth Gustafsson, Sandra Schmerler, Peterson, Rona Martin, Colleen Jones, Shannon Kleibrink, Jennifer Jones, Tieran Sony, Muirhead, Pats, all former winners. A very prestigious circle of names. And here we see Christina Lestander. She's a former elite curler for Switzerland. So this Finnish team is not expected to win this event, I think, but with Lestander in the team, it could be an interesting match, Richard.
Well, highly experienced Christina Lestander. And the Finnish women come from Åland Curling Club. And the island of Åland, have to be very careful how we say that.
Yes.
Is in the Baltic, a lot closer to Sweden than to Finland.
That's right, and they also.
But it does belong to Finland.
It does. And
they do have a new small curling club there.
Yeah, and we host the PAF Masters in Åland, Finland. So if you've been following the World Curling Tour, we've streamed from there in, I believe it was in October or November. PAF Masters. PAF. From Åland. It's quite a success too for their first year. So Irene Shorey playing third for Feltscher, this team two-time world champions and European champions in the last few years. And leading off with the first rock here, finally. Is Elina Vertala.
So Elina Vertala is going to be leading and skipping this team.
So lots of curl here too. These rocks were, of course, just right after between Christmas and New Year's. A lot of ice work was done, and the rocks are fresh. So big swing expected. So you need a lot of rotation. Rotation very important when the rocks are aggressive. Here we see Binya, who's just doing their draw shots. That's what they're doing.
Okay. Okej, så gott. 4-4. Sen nog en mega. Beetje, au.
And now they've each had their practice rocks, so closest to the button will get the hammer. Stay in the 8 foot, so
Yes, just that.
now we'll see Bina. No doubt she'll be a little closer than that.
Okay, Ina ist gut. Ich finde nicht viel schneller. Sieht gut aus. Sieht kürzer aus. Sieht kürzer aus.
So Bina
Ina,
Feltscher
ja.
for Switzerland also stepping down from last stone position.
Super. Gehen wir gerne gegen noch. Gut? Schön.
And with that, the Swiss
Good game.
team will take the hammer.
Game.
We'll figure this out, Richard.
Good game. Good game.
A little bit of delay with the introduction there, and they just did their draw shots now. And now the game will begin. And with that, Feltscher will have the hammer in the first end.
Now the skips will skip again.
And, well, you never know. Mix it up a bit, just to confuse us.
Legen wir los im 18. Ja.
Well, Bina Feltscher, as you mentioned, two-time world champion for Switzerland. And over 5 years, Switzerland won on 4 occasions. 3 different skips, 3 different teams.
3 times in a row, and we didn't get to keep the
Ja,
trophy.
ja.
And in that time, Feltscher won the European Championships also.
Ja. Bra linje.
Just in the left under.
Och skåla. Nej. Bra.
Christina's won a few titles herself in the past. I'm not right, and we see here right to the button.
Oh, sorry.
I
Sorry.
can't read them off right now. I'd have to chase
Yep.
them down, but you might know any off the top of your head. She was a European champion once.
She
for
certainly
sure.
was.
Alter. Tia. Tia. Hey, Tia.
Carl Holwald, first rock takeout, rolls out of the house. So I think the teams will just be trying to figure out the curl, the speed here in the first end. So I don't expect to see a too aggressive a game.
Yep. Japp, hela vägen. Lite mera curl. Kör. Elina.
So, Christina putting up the centre guard with her second shot in this opening end. Now Bina Feltscher will try and draw behind it, just giving the option to her teammate whether she might like to draw to the wing, but no.
Feltscher.
Hey. Tia. Oh.
Feltscher currently ranked
Tia.
20th on the world ranking. I don't believe the Finnish team is ranked. I think this is their second time playing this event.
And so the Feltscher team playing the yellow stones, as you can see from the scoreboard, and Mary Hansen playing with the red. Our second player is Janina Lindström.
Nej.
She will hit it on the nose and stick.
Franziska Kaufmann from Grindelwald, Switzerland. This team's a little spread out over Switzerland. Bina comes from Flims, which is the other end of the country. Irene Shori is originally out of the Dubendorf Curling Club, which is Zurich. Not much choice for these ladies.
Yep.
With only one curling club on their island.
Wow, yes.
Yep.
Hitting and rolling out. Nothing in play. Being going to take the opportunity and rip off that center guard, having the hammer in this end, and making sure nothing untold happens. Although I suppose she could have gone aggressive there and drawn around it and put these Finnish team, well, going to have that center guard there anyways.
Well, not quite the plan, Armin.
Does change the color though.
Yes. And no hesitation from Mary Hansen. She's going to have a go at going round this guard.
Marginal. Ja, 85. Ja, är det så långsamt? Ja.
And with the amount of curl here, you can probably afford to pass the guard by some margin if you want to remain hidden and not come out the other side.
Yes, you'll certainly want to keep those guards close to the house with this amount of curl.
And as you could see there, quite a bit of room between the stone and the played stone and the guard, so she will be right behind, but also, of course, it is easier to remove the stone even though you can't see any of it from the other end. Feltscher quite happy just to take the guard off here.
Irene Shori will try that again. And this is looking a little bit better for clearing. Yeah. It's almost got it on the nose again though. Did leave it a bit of a guard.
So a chance here for Mary Hansen to replace that guard, providing some cover for her own, the stone of her own team, sitting in the front 8-foot circle. And at this stage in the end, Finnish team looking to see if they might be able to steal a point here. And of course, Binja Feltscher definitely doesn't want that to happen in the opening end, if she can avoid it. There's so much curl at the end, you can see that stone
You can
curled across quite a bit, so part of the red stone belonging to Hansen is visible for Binja Feltscher's third player. So has she got the right line this time, just to come past the garden?
She might be able to get to the nose of this rock if she's not wrecking.
And look how
This
fast
is
that's curling.
all over the guard.
Well, it really took off, didn't it? Should be too concerned by that.
She had a lot of rotation, so it must have been narrow from the start.
Well, it seemed to, once it started curling, it really took off, Armin. So I need to look out for that.
You don't want to roll them over here. You'd rather be a lot more positive. A little inside out, if anything. Keep them a little straighter.
So the first stone then for Elina Vertala. Just throwing the last stones in this team.
Lite där. Så. Curla! Nej! Nej! Nina, nej! Curla, curla, curla. Kör, kör, kör.
Well, I think it will curl all right. The problem here is it's slowing down quite quickly at the end.
Perfect.
Good shot from Vertala.
Good guard.
Yeah, covers the red stone.
Be able to get at it with the out turn now.
Oh, ik ben er maar over. Zo,
Can certainly get at it, Armin, but to be reasonably accurate with this one.
Make sure you don't tip that yellow one on the right either. So we'll see Bina with her first rock this game. I'm not sure if the team from Holland, they speak Finnish or they speak Swedish. I think they do speak Swedish to each other, don't they? I believe, although they are Finnish.
So the first stone here for Bernese Feltscher in this opening end of play. Going for the takeout, hoping for the roll, but this one needs to swing a bit, otherwise she's going to catch her own guard. She has done, oh dear.
That was the danger of that shot.
And they were actually sweeping that quite early,
sorry.
expecting it to curl, and didn't curl as much as they imagined. So another chance to guard this stone. But will it be good enough to steal a point in the opening end for the Finnish team? It's only straddling the 12-foot, 8-foot boundary. And if they guard this effectively, then there's still plenty of space for Feltscher to curl one in and out-count that red stone belonging to the Finnish team. So last stone in this opening end for Elina Vertala.
Bra linje. Curla. Curla. Japp.
Well, it's really, really curling now.
Ingenting. Nej, nej.
Well, she's covered the shot, but I think you can certainly pass by that as we look at it on the left-hand side of the screen and remove the stone from play if you wanted, but the shot really is just the draw. What she probably can't do is take that stone out and roll her shooter out and retain the last stone, so she's just going to go for the one here. So a draw shot for a single point for Team Feltscher.
Needs full 8 foot.
Okay. Potsa! Potsa! Carla fest. Carla veel botsen, hè? Richtig is super. 3-1.
It's looking pretty good. She had the button when she do her draw shot, and that certainly helped her here. So one for the Swiss team here in the first end. And, a bit of a sort of an end with some errors in it, all trying to get used to the ice a little bit. And first game of the event for them. These weekend events, you need to get onto your game very quickly because you find yourself out before you very quickly too. And here we see score of 1 in the first.
And you can see where else you can find this event. World Curling Tour. Twitter at World Curling. And of course on the World Curling Federation website and World Curling Tour website. So 1 point to 0 in favour of Team Feltscher after the first end, and that means of course they start the next end of play here. It will be Carol Hoald.
12-7.
And just throwing the stone into the house, but creeping on a little bit further than she really wanted.
Not an ideal spot. You'd rather be up in front of the tee line. This is I guess a corner guard she's asking for.
Ja, bra linje. Ja, hårt! Hårt! Kom igen!
This is really coming down. It's going to be a long guard. Work that to get it just over the hog line.
Well, Armin, and the stones, I've noticed they do pull up quite quickly. Once they start slowing down, they sit down quite quickly.
We're also getting the fresh path on that side. They pretty, especially after halfway point of the sheet. All fresh ice. Working this one.
Tia, Bissina. Tia.
Just top of the house.
Fest. Tia. Gut. Sehr schön. Gut, Luis.
Just there.
Ja.
So, hit and roll here from the left ender. Hit and roll behind the guard would be ideal. No, it's not going to roll behind the guard. Just hit it on the nose. Almost got the back one.
Sehr schön. Schöner.
4,5.
Ja. Gut. Go.
Well, 2 line stones for Feltscher in the early part of the set.
Yep. Vänta, nej.
Stone tracking on a little bit, certainly going to finish in the back ring. Is it going to count first shot? Yes, it does, just. Hidden behind the guard, but it's a huge draw there, so every possibility to follow it down.
She's going to play this from the outturn side. I'm not so sure about this shot. I think the guard would be a better option here, Richard.
Yes, I think so too.
Never want to, if she hits this on the nose, she's just leaving backing for the opponent. And there you go. So the Finnish team now have a guard up there with a rock behind the tee line. Pretty well want to throw the same shot, maybe not quite as long. Get in front of that yellow rock. This line's a little wider. Got a curl.
Is it going to curl enough at the end? It is. Pretty nice shot, actually.
There you go.
Very good.
I bet you Feltscher's wishing she had to remove that guard with her last rock. So some other noteworthy teams on this half of the draw. We got Binyu Wang from China, Fleming from Scotland, Sinclair from USA, Sidorova from Russia playing on this half of the draw. There's some strong teams here. And top half of the draw earlier on, we had Mozeva, Olympic representative for Russia, Christensen from USA. And we'll be showing Christensen Muirhead in the next draw at 8 o'clock. Is that right, Richard?
It certainly is.
Thank you very much. We have Elina Pats also on the top half of the draw.
Kommer jag förbi här? Nej, vi drar hit. Här. Vi drar här.
So, chance to get another one behind the guard here, Richard? That guard's pretty long though, eh?
It's just over the hog line, really.
Yeah.
We can see it now.
You can almost, even if she gets these together, you can almost double them out. So this curl there.
Ska vi den eller den? Vi drar bakom samma igen.
Maybe split the rings might be a better option.
Det är för svårt att komma in den där vägen, andra vägen.
Ska du inte frysa mot dem, nej?
Mot vilken?
Mot deras stenar.
Men kommer jag ner där då med röda garden?
And that's what she's talking about now, I believe. No, I guess she...
Var det sådär mycket is?
Not sure what they're doing, Richard.
Och tiden?
Well, I think she's trying to come around the guard.
It's a lot of...
Or block the way into the shot, perhaps. So it will be Mary Hansen playing the third stones here. Pretty full up to the stone in the house, I think, so she could lie two round here. Nice shot.
Ja, lopen zo wie du. Zij staat de kant. Nee, half. Huh? Half.
You can get to the inside of that with the out turn. Double them out.
Well, you can notice from the overhead camera there that, in fact, the Finnish team only lie the one shot. That second red stone is out counted by the back yellow one of Feltscher's. At this point, a little bit further than midway through the end on the third player's shot. She didn't pass that by much, but she's going to get quite a nice result out of it. Moving both the reds, one of them right out of the house. And now
Feltscher's line 4.
So will lie four shots.
And that's Yellow Rocks in a much nicer position behind that guard now.
That was a very good shot
Då gör vi nu, dra
to get
här.
the action on both these red stones.
Ja. Ja, det går inte annars.
And the reward is to lie 4 shots.
Ja, vi drar där. Ja.
Red has the hammer though, so not in any great danger. The middle's
Ja,
open.
det
And
visar bättre.
4 foot is definitely available and accessible. Does put a little pressure on the skip though when you're drawing against 4. We're not at Skip's Rocks yet, we're still at Third's Rocks.
Ja, sopa hela vägen.
This is coming up short.
It is. Well, that stone had plenty of backing to come to, so an unfortunate shot there from
Huh? Als ik kaart maak, dan
Finland.
vind je nee.
still 4 points
Sogar wenn wir vorne in 12
in the house for
Genau,
Bernese
genau,
Feltscher.
ja das stimmt. Genau, das andere wäre da.
last stone advantage though lies with
Men vi kan probera nu.
Mary Hansen's team,
Ja.
but they're going to
Jetzt
need
habe
it
ich, aber
to
für den
outcount
Draschen habe ich sogar nicht immer neu
Ja, das ist ja
verkürzt.
extrem.
all these yellow
Darum, ich
counters.
würde, glaube fast eher so.
würde ich auch,
Findest du
ja.
auch?
Ja, mindestens, ja.
So Feltscher's gonna go directly.
Diese 4 ist super, aber auch wenn er ein bisschen kürzer ist, ist er nicht so schlecht.
Behind that
Aber
red
man hat schon so
rock.
viel mehr Eis als der Dranschot. Also er ist nicht auf der Dranschot-Spur.
So piling on the pressure for
Ja.
Elena Bertala.
Ein bisschen tief.
2 Swiss stones remaining and 1 Finnish one.
Ik kan het niet. Oh! Wow, wechseln, sonst wechseln. Ich glaube, ich will näher da vorne lassen. Wow. Er ist eben ganz
Well,
so.
she's got plenty of weight here. Needs to curl a bit to get round the guard.
Ich will wirklich nicht. Gut?
Well, it does curl, but does provide a small opportunity for
Oh, she left that
the
wide
Finns
open.
to hit and roll off that behind the guard.
She'll need that.
Typ där. Lite
She's
runt.
in a bit of a trouble here.
Blir det för högt. 10. Vilken fart? 10.
5 yellow counters for the Swiss at the moment.
And 3 stones to go. 2 for Finland and 1 more from Feltscher. This will be first of the skip stones here in the second end.
Pretty big shot here, Richard. I think she really needs this roll. She might not have much to throw at with her last one if she doesn't make it.
Nej!
I think it needs to curl a bit.
Oh, it's wide. She's missing it. Oh, no, she got a piece of it. So Feltscher will be able to repeat her shot, find a better line, try and get right behind that red guard.
Das finde ich eigentlich gut.
Gut, dann kommt sie mit dem Weiten Stefan Schott, oder?
Ja, also er dürfte einfach auch
She
eher
took outside 12 foot ice for the first one.
Ich würde glauben. Ich würde glauben,
Da
da.
oder noch da?
I think you got to go into the 4 foot, eh, Richard?
Well, or you could block the way just fully in the white 8 foot circle.
Yeah, there's no out turn draw.
Well, there isn't because that long guard's in the
Yep,
way.
that's right. So the only thing she'd
Also
have
wenn
is
wir- wenn wir reingehen, dann
she
gehen
got an
wir
in turn
was
hit on
drauf
that
zu
yellow
meinen
one behind the
machen.
red guard and
Und wenn
flop
wir-
into the
wenn wir
red
vorne sind,
So I think I'd go into the, well,
Just where the brush is now, that's where to go to.
give her that in-turn hit
Ja,
on the yellow on the right-hand side. Now on our left. So she took the same ice here,
proberen nog 12. Proberen nog 12.
taking the same ice as she did with her last rock.
Zeer druk, zeer zwaar. Goed, ik kan kijken. Ik hou het voor jullie. Nou, niet te einfach. Dus dan moet ik mee te kürzer.
So an important shot here for Bernese Feltscher. She can place this just in the right spot. It will really put the pressure onto the Finnish team with their last stone remaining.
Oh. Gaan we wechselen? 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 Voor de 12, hè?
This has got to start curling.
Voor de 12, voor de 12. Wenn das Franzi, aber nur voor de 12. Achtung, ja, ja. Nimm den noch. Fisch. Oh. Nee, super.
Well, that's where she wanted it.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
Goed, zeer goed, zeer
Because you
goed.
can't hit that. Well, you can, but you're going to lose two.
Yeah, well, I think the only shot she's really got is that inside, or that in-turn hit. And going around that guard, hit this yellow one, roll in.
Well, that's quite tough with the stones curling a lot at the end.
I don't know if you can get to the inside. You're still giving up one on this shot she's looking at, unless she doubles them out. You can play the double on this, I guess. End up shot.
Jo, här, men att den ska rulla dit. Är det inte bättre att du får göra samma då? Att du här och så rullar du dit. Men den blir ju inte, det är ju liksom, ja, jag vet inte.
Well, Armin, I think the problem about hitting the stone on the left, as we looked at from the overhead, is there's a guard in the road.
Oh, the guard's
In the
fairly
way.
long, though. This doesn't really play a factor.
Well, I think
That's got a lot of room there. Richard around that guard on the right-hand side. I think they're a little indecisive at the moment.
problem, even if you hit that, is you've got to get a roll off it to lie the first shot.
This one here. Yeah.
No, well, the one you were mentioning.
Let's get anywhere to the half of that inside yellow rock on the right-hand side that's in the top of the 8 foot. You should be able to get in. But she's not trying that one. She's trying the other one. I think that she'd almost have to make the double here to count one. She hits.
She certainly has to hit it on the inside.
Yes, that's right.
This looks on the inside all right. Is she going to get past the guard? That's the question. Ooh, yes.
Oh, she got too much on the inside. Oh, jeez. It's unfortunate. And a steal of 4 here in the second end already. And the two-time world champions taking a 5-0 lead after 2 ends of play.
Goed ze?
Ja, zeer goed. Ja, goed.
Ja. We moeten oppassen, ja, met overtime, want ze vriest alles aan. Hè.
Ja, vooral echt.
Check out all the results of this event and other events that'll be going on this weekend on the tour or curl.com. Tomorrow, the World Mixed Doubles Curling Tour will get underway in the Dutch. The Dutch Masters. And here we see it, big 4 already here in the second. 5-0 lead. It's a big for the Finnish team, quite a big team to take on in your first game.
Yeah, that's they're not giving too much away. Bernese Feltscher are former Swiss champions.
Okay.
Pats from Switzerland playing here this weekend too. 2015 world champions.
Ja.
And they played a
Mot curla. Nej.
triple round robin
Nej, nej.
qualifier to go to the Olympics for Switzerland. Pats,
Yep.
Feltscher,
Yep.
and Tiransoni. Tiransoni won that 6-0,
Ja, 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 ja.
and thereby qualified for the Olympics for Switzerland.
Ja.
The only Swiss team that hasn't won a world championship yet. Top team. So
Tia! Tia! Push! Tia, 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 Tia. Zweimal müssen durch. Zweimal müssen durch. Ja, schon gut. Ehkä vähän kovempi.
Christina Lestander.
Yep, yep, yep,
Her
yep,
second stone in this third end.
yep.
Trailing 5-0.
Minna lite, minna.
The Finns.
two good guards here.
Bra där.
Almost good. That needed to be a little bit further. Still using the 4-rock rule. Starting next year, we'll be using the 5-rock free guard zone rule. That'll make things a little more interesting. Have to start rethinking things. And certainly the second position will become quite a lot more interesting, I think. Yeah. So that's not a bad shot. Does push that Finnish rock into the house, but that's all right.
Was? Fabian.
I'm not sure if the Finns have a firepower to be able to come back 5-0 deficit.
So just trying to split the house with this shot. Janina
Lola.
Lundström.
That's not going to help her cause.
And it's going to be right through just.
Stoßer!
Just out.
Se oli aikani.
Tia! Tia!
Going for the double. And she makes it. Makes it look easy.
And doesn't jam on the back either, so that clears up that small problem. I don't think Feltscher's going to do too much complicated now. She's just going to keep this clean. We'll be here all weekend, right through till Sunday. I think we're going to show about 11 games. Right through to the quarter, semifinals, and finals on Sunday.
Japp, japp, ta det bakom.
32
Japp,
teams,
japp, japp.
triple knockout.
Ja, stopp, ja, bra.
Nicely played right
Yeah,
behind.
it's not a bad rock, actually. Let's try the run back on that.
Det är knepigt nu man ska spela när man
Hit the yellow on the nose and drive it back onto the red one. Irene, quite a solid takeout player. Got on it pretty quick though. Oh, it's just touched her up.
Well, small chance here for the Talas team to draw a second shot into the house on the other side.
It's only third end, make two.
Yeah. Prospect of getting two back here.
Put you right back in the game.
Well, it gets you a bit closer anyway.
Yeah, sort of. Depends what you do with that following it. Marie Hansen, the organizing president of the PAF Masters.
Yep, yep.
Have you been up to that club, Richard?
I have not.
It's a pretty little island.
The island of Åland, I think.
Yeah.
It's a kind of destination island because it enjoys some form of tax break.
Well, we see here with their sponsor, PAF is actually a lottery company, and they're also the main sponsor for the Masters in Åland.
And that's really all that Bernese Feltscher needs to do there. And Shuri hitting and sticking.
Vad var tiden på den där då?
95, 99 någonting sånt.
Finns want to do anything in this end, she'll need to get this rock in behind that guard and get it into play. Now this has got no legs at all. Richard come up way short.
Well, that's a poor shot at this stage of the end, I'm afraid. Had to be in the house. She's facing one stone belonging to Bernese Feltscher. And she's about to face two. They'll be lined up so that it's difficult to get to the back one.
Das ist eigentlich so Worst Case, das darf die nicht sein. Also was macht sie, wenn wir da gehen?
In dem Fall, wenn wir ein bisschen da gehen.
Oder da, genau. Ein bisschen nebendran so. Findest du auch gut?
Ja, machen wir den.
Ja.
So we're still giving quite a bit of thought to where they're going to put these shots, so staying focused.
Den letzten hat da im ersten nicht.
Taking her opponent too lightly. Always a danger. Come back and bite you.
Ja, gut. Da.
Ja, 8 Fuß. Der Schott aber eigentlich extra ein bisschen übergörlen, damit sie nicht die Doppel mit Roll hat. 13,5. T-Line. Ja, wenn er dann so görlen, bremst er dann vielleicht. Ne? Ja, sicher rein. Es ist nicht so schlimm, wenn er T-Line wäre.
So Bernese Feltscher, the first stone here.
Okay. Vorne noch. Vorne
In
noch.
the third end.
Seid lang aus. Seid lang aus. Wenn jetzt Franzi lieber Franzi.
Just wants this to stop in the front of the house. She got the right weight.
43 kann ich.
Looking
Tipptopp.
pretty good. Perhaps just a fraction too far.
Okay. Gut sehen. Sehr schön. 13,4.
Jag tycker på något vis att du går och slår här och rullar här. Rullar här, ja.
Lite rull till höger.
So the last stone belongs to Elena Vatala, facing 2 yellow counters from the Feltscher team. Bernese Feltscher only 1 stone remaining. Vatala has 2. This our first one. Just going for a takeout on this. I guess she might be hoping for the long roll, Armin.
Maybe a real long roll. Yeah.
Hårt! Hårt! Nina hårt! Hårt!
The way they've been playing, I think they'd be happy just to sit in the house somewhere. That's not going to do it.
Und jetzt eher in die Mitte.
Well,
Jetzt
perhaps a
werden noch
missed
mal
call on the sweeping there a little bit, but I think they'd have struggled to hold it even with vigorous sweeping on that line.
Also ich finde, es kommen recht gerade vor dem.
Ja, ich bin auch
Weil
gerade
da kommt sie
vor
fast nicht mehr, also von dieser Seite
Von dieser
schwierig.
Seite kommt sie dann nicht mehr her, ja. Gerade von da nochmal gleich.
Sogar wenn er ein bisschen übergörlt, dann muss ich, also ja.
Ja. Ich finde es nicht schlimm, wenn er ein bisschen zu lang ist, weil ich glaube, sie will lieber lecken als
Ja.
schiessen. Eigentlich von dem her nochmal gleiche Länge.
Ja, machen wir nochmal gleich und ein bisschen mehr.
Nice.
Oder-
Vorher haben wir so gehabt, mache ich so.
Ja.
So they were trying to figure out what kind of shot they would like to leave the Finnish skip. And they were speculating on the fact that she'd probably
Probieren wir gerade vor den
rather
anderen.
play a draw than a hit. So they're going to try and get this into the top of the forefoot.
Perfekt wäre im Achtfuß.
Yeah, I don't, as well,
Also perfekt wäre 8, aber
What to do
lieber
to
rein,
try
wenn sie muss auch offen zuerst treffen, wenn sie görlt. Also wenn die T-Line
make it
ist,
as tough as possible for
With the amount of
Well,
curl
Hansen.
here, the accuracy of the fins is just not quite where it should be.
no.
Keep those rocks in play.
Putze!
Sicher rein, ha?
Putze! Putze vorne nach! Du der übergörlen, hä? Weißt du? Schau, übergörlen der!
Just wanting this one to stop in the front of the house.
Ja, das ist schon gut, das ist schon gut. Oh,
Basically where they wanted it.
Entschuldigung.
Du måste dra in här.
Sorry.
Men då får de en etta. Försöka dra in här. Det är sista sten.
Just looking for the draw here.
Det är
see?
sista sten.
So, but she's going to be forced to play the hit because the outturn draw is a little bit
Draw hard.
difficult. Not a lot of room.
No.
So good placement there by Feltscher. That's exactly where she wanted it. She knew she didn't have an outturn draw. In-turn draw obviously is not there with that rock being. I guess you could get full 4 foot with the in-turn.
Dragning. Okej.
Well, I think the outturn draw is definitely there. There's lots of room, but you just have to be trusting of the line you take, I think. I've seen them down this line before, and they certainly do curl at draw weight.
Sure, sure.
Need to just be careful as well to make sure they've got the weight, not end up short against 2.
Well, she definitely feels more confident with her draw. That's why she's picking it.
Ja, ja. Hårt!
This is
Hårt bara, hårt. Hårt!
this might over curl though. The weight was good. Just over curling. Does she get enough of a bounce off it? No, she doesn't.
Ja.
So another steal for Feltscher.
Gör bra fart, ja.
Ja, bra fart. Ja, bra. Bra fart.
No, sorry, jag tänkte fel. Jag tänkte fel. Säg hur man kan spela med varje.
So the score will now be 6 shots to 0 in favour of Team Feltscher after 3 ends of play.
So all the other scores and results of all the other games going on and the previous draws you'll find on rocurl.com. Just a reminder, we'll be on again at 8 o'clock with Christensen from the US against Eve Muirhead. One of 5 former world champions in this event. Carl Howald starting the 4th end. I think Feltscher's probably pretty happy to get a game like this at the beginning to get they sometimes struggle in events and they get a tough opponent right at the beginning. They don't always get onto a roll. They're a team that takes a little bit of time to get warm, so they're probably pretty happy that get to start with this. And there's a good draw from the lead, right where you want it.
Riittää. Ta den nära bara. Bra.
That's a better guard.
Yep, good shot there.
Ja, kanske man blir på. Det är gott. Det är gott, så råder.
Super!
So they're on this one,
Get an ice.
bringing it right into the house, and why not? With a 6-shot lead. The name of the game is play this whole of the game, if possible, in the house. Because if anything goes wrong, you can just take it out if it belongs to your opposition.
2 nice shots there from Carl. Full marks.
Ja, bra linje.
Christina Lestander now working
Bra curla.
in the Swiss curling office.
Vänta. Nej. Den måste
Swiss
curla.
Curling Association, also being at home here in Bern.
Tänk på att den ska över linan.
But she won't be happy with that one. I think we've seen that one before, haven't we?
No, it's a poor one. Francisca Kaufman once more.
Gonna clear this guard out, get rid of it. That'll be not a very good shot either.
Hurra fart! Ja! Vänta! Ja! Hårt! Kom igen!
Draw around this guard.
Nej, kör!
Looking very nice. And good shot there from the second. The Finnish team. Fully buried. And a run back now from Franziska Kaufmann. Try and hit the yellow onto the red. Sweepers are on it. Gets enough of it, moves it out of the house, rolls a little more to the middle. Good shot. Fairly simple, straightforward game now for the Swiss team. Anything that's red that they want to remove from play.
Eller vill du slå?
She looks like she's going to play a full takeout on this. Maybe a tap back. Move those around a little bit behind the tee line. Get some rocks in play. Would be an option. She's just going to try and hit and roll here.
If she could hit and roll just in behind the one guard, that would be a pretty good shot. Too much.
Hitting and rolling out doesn't help her at all.
Elina.
This is a A group draw, so as you stay in the A group, the games will keep getting tougher and tougher until you get to the A final. And after that, you don't want to drop down. You have a long road through to qualify. You can qualify through by winning one of the three groups. 8 qualifiers at the end, going to the quarterfinals. So this is another hit and roll attempt, or not enough ice for a freeze, and it.
Really struggling with the weight. Mari Hansen, is this one going to have enough to get round behind? Yeah. She'll finish behind the tee and not challenging the shot stone belonging to the Feltscher team. Shorty just going to take that guard away.
She's going to.
Oh no!
No, she went right around it. Roll out.
No danger of any shots going against you if you take them all out, of course.
That's right. Make the reds disappear. Just on the line.
Lite saktare kanske då. Eller vad var det?
Ganska 95 fick jag, tror jag.
Well, way over on sheet 2. We've got a tight game going between Fleming and Wang. They're tied up 2 apiece after 3 ends. So we're seeing a lot of new teams here this weekend too, Richard. There's some very young new teams. They're getting some good experience playing against some of these top elite teams. A nice draw.
Ich würde es probieren, so. Im schlimmsten Fall macht es 2. Aber
Ja, auch. Der andere wäre vielleicht einfach noch da her.
ja, wäre auch noch einer.
Also Preis würde ich nie. Und nachher ist er nicht einmal second oder so. Wenn wir über den
Findest du auch gut?
Ja. Sie kommen
Ja,
da
good shot
nicht
there.
so. Ja, also sie kommen aber nicht so extrem in anderen Orten.
Kann nass, hè?
See how Benia does with the run back takeout.
8. Ja, okay. Ja, da kommen sie nicht so extrem wie in anderen Orten.
Hoping it'll curl a bit more. Oh, she got it. Got a piece of it anyway. And she won't mind losing the shooter in the process. For them, fewer stones in play, but as many as you want in the house. That's the name of the game.
Well played.
Yep, good shot. So the last stone belongs to Vertala.
Still.
Still. So she has 2 stones remaining here in this end. And the counter against her is fully visible, no complications this time.
Should be looking for the roll this time. Or she's just going for the straight draw. Or what is? No, it's kind of a slow takeout. Or a fast draw. Just settles down at the back of the ring, so I'm not quite sure. I think there's just a draw that was too long.
Sorry. Also was können wir mit 10 für Rico?
Dus met een 10. Wat?
Ja, ich meine, Clear ist ja auch gut.
Ja.
Oder? Finde ich super. Sie gehen eigentlich glaub, nicht so gerade.
Nee, ja, dan krijg je
So
het.
Benia will just take this
Ja,
out.
dat zo.
Okay.
She could be nasty and put a guard on that rock in the 4-foot, but I think
Goed zo.
she's just happy to remove this.
Well, she certainly doesn't need to be
Aggressive.
aggressive or indeed inventive in this end, leading 6-0 after 3 ends.
If she sticks this, then Finns will be forced to take one. They got this moving. Oh, mistake from Benia. Will she get lucky? And oh, how lucky is that?
Dubbel
Uh, she wrecks on the guard, but rolls in for second shot and is
Du måste träffa
so
här.
well spread out that there's absolutely no double.
Dubbel.
Well, I don't think there's a double here really,
Well,
but
yeah,
she's
unless
going for one.
You're not Nicholas Edin, I don't think.
I don't think she can throw it hard enough for the double.
Normig. Second.
This would be a tough double for anybody. I don't really see a double there at all, Richard. Not with that ice either.
No, and even if she makes the shot, she can't. I don't think she can possibly move the yellow stone enough to outcount the red one at the back of the house.
That's right. And she got this going too. She hit it on the nose. So another steal.
Bra försök.
I don't know why you wouldn't take one here, but
Ta en poäng. Ja.
So that will be another point on the board for
Nej, så är det
the
väl.
Feltscher team, who now lead 7 shots to nothing after 4 ends of play.
What? Roxy?
Absolut. Ja, absolut.
Lite tur det här. Att
Ja.
För det var ju riktigt planerat av dem.
Va?
Det var inte riktigt planerat av dem det här.
Nej, det var lite otur. Ja. Ja, om vi fortsätter kämpa.
Seven to nothing after 4 ends, and certainly the Finnish team not having a lot of firepower to be able to take on the Swiss team.
Squat.
Don't think Feltscher's going to have that easy of a go.
Nog zeker ganz rein. Okay.
Gut so.
Next game will certainly be much tougher for Feltscher. They'll either come up against Bin Yuang of China or Fleming from Scotland.
Japp. Hela vägen.
Fleming probably be about the second toughest team in Scotland, Richard, after Muirhead.
Yes, right now they're probably in number 2 spot.
Yeah, a very, very good team. They've been in the finals of the Scottish Stockholm Ladies Cup, and have done quite well on the tour over the years.
Ja.
So Feltscher might as well enjoy this, because next game is going to be a lot tougher.
Gut. Richtig ist gut. Ist Auer, gell?
Wir haben fast die gleiche Zeit.
Ja, kommt auch gerade bis gleich.
Okay. Gut gesehen.
Well, and you can see the tactic for Feltscher and her team, just pile them in the house.
Japp.
Forces your opponent really to move them.
Japp, ja.
Which lets you
Virta.
exert control of the end if you can maintain it.
Japp,
And you see the nice curl here. The rock's really moving.
Ingenting.
They seem to like the draw around the out-turn guard. Chosen that path a couple of times now.
Yep. They got round the guard okay there, anyway.
Yeah, around it and out the other side almost. Feltscher now. Remove that.
Oh. Gut. Schön.
So off with the guard.
So geht's. Aha.
Nina Lindstrom
Japp, hela vägen.
just trying to replace that guard in the same spot. Really difficult to get the precise line for these guard shots. And this one's pretty slow. Need the guard to be further up. First of all, we need it over the hog line. Well, it is, but I think
wasn't really not a factor with this kind of curl, but
Bra sopat.
I guess might as well remove it.
Over.
Does she have enough of it? Yes, she does.
Yep. Nicely halved out of play. So once more, just the 2 stones belonging to Bernese Feltscher, and the one on the left belonging to the Hansen team.
Looks like she's putting that guard back up again.
Japp. Japp. Mot curla. Nej, nej, nej. Nej, nej. Ingenting. 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 Bra. Ja, det är verkligen viktigt att vi kollar att den kommer.
So all the play in the house. That's the positive news for Bernese Feltscher. She can control what's going on if all these stones are lying inside the 4-foot counting circle, or the 12-foot counting circle, the red circle as we see it here, the outer red circle.
Fleming just scored a 3 against Wang in the 4th end to take a 5-2 lead.
That's all.
Dubbel mitt mellan. Ja, lite på vänster. Vänster
Just gonna have to hit the right yellow one just off the center on the right hand side, otherwise she'll drive it back on her own. She doesn't really want to do that.
Nej, nej, nej. Nej. Nej, Nina, ja, Nina åt.
Is she going for the top one or the back one, Richard?
Men det går inte, ja, video.
Hard to see.
Ja,
Well, there certainly wasn't a double there.
No, no.
vad fan är förra kvar?
But it's a little bit better than it was, I think. Still lies one against her with that yellow counter in front of her own red.
Tia! Färs!
But back to the main policy to remove anything red out of the rings and stick around yourself if possible.
Schön.
Well, that's a very good shot from Irene Shori.
And now that double's there.
Nej, där.
So just off the nose on the right hand side, about where the broom is. Drive it back and try and pick off the yellow too. Keep your shooter in play.
Dubbel där tror jag.
She
nog
might
där, träffa
have a
lite.
chance to score more than one. They got on it right away.
Well, it's curling a lot. And it looks like it's going to miss the lock.
Oh, jeez.
Also eben, sie kann da
Oh
mit
dear.
dem Kopf, kann sie mit zwei
dear.
Linsen, hä? Dann würde ich glaube eher noch mal einen hier her tun.
Var den hit
Das
för
andere
mycket?
wäre...
Var den, satte du hit den för mycket?
Ich bin glaube etwas eher für den.
Oder hätten wir noch etwas nehmen?
Wenn
Nicht
du den
anders.
machst, macht sie noch den und dann liegt
Ja, eben,
der
gell?
hinter dem. Das
Ja,
finde
das
ich eigentlich
stimmt.
auch nicht so
Ich würde auch eher von der, aber ich würde fast eher von dieser Seite
Ja,
spielen.
würde
hä?
ich auch, ja. Dann gehen wir.
Und bis wo ist er perfekt? Perfekt wäre schon 8 Fuß, also das hört oder nicht?
Muss er eigentlich nicht, ha?
Ich frage nur, einfach,
Nur da.
also ich meine, die Linie ist wichtig,
Ja,
aber
finde ich auch, ja.
auch wenn er nachher da, ich meine, sie muss gleich noch Triple bringen zuerst, oder?
Ja, wenn er da ist,
A
kann
lot
sie
of debate here.
rauslaufen.
Ich glaube auch nicht, ja. Aber
Also,
perfekt
liegt ja
wäre
blöd.
da.
Ich würde glaube, ja.
Wie viel ist?
But it's you know, it doesn't really matter who your opponent is or what your opponent is. I think you want to keep your routine and your train of thought.
So gut.
You don't want to start taking things too easy because you might just do that at the wrong moment.
So eventually deciding, I think, just to try and put a shorter stone in front of the short stone, that one on the blue circle. Try and make it really tough for and then Bertala. She comes to play at the moment. Feltscher team lie 2.
Okay. Richtig ist gut. 12 ist super.
Darf noch Carla?
Wer noch Kerle? Ich glaube, er ist länger, nicht? Okay, ja.
It's looking pretty good.
Oh, ist gut, oder? Nee.
Coming into the house, and it will guard
Tipptopp. Sehr schön.
the short stone as we suggested. So now
There's a triple there, Richard. Triple to line 2. There is.
Ta bort lite.
You go out there and throw it, Richard.
Ja, du borde kanske träffa där, mitt på.
Right
mitt
there,
ganska
just
bra.
off the nose. Drive it back. Actually, on the nose would probably be. Better.
I don't know if there is a triple, certainly a double, but
There's the triple. Come on, just drive that straight back on that yellow one. That
Think-
yellow one goes over, takes out the back yellow one.
big chance for it to lock there,
Yes, there is.
so that it won't run out.
And you have to throw this pretty hard to make that triple, and I don't think she'll be able to do that. She wide too.
Ninna lite, Ninna.
And she's only going to clear the top one.
Well, she will hit and run, leaving Feltscher once again lying 2 shot.
She'll be looking to replace that rock in exactly the same spot.
Yes, same again.
Ich würde auch noch mal dort her.
Ja, ich finde ihn auch gut, nochmal da und da
Ja.
ist es auch gut, oder?
Ja.
Ich finde so halben abdecken wäre glaube okay.
Ja.
Oder so Türchen abdecken von dem. Wo haben wir gehabt?
Vorher haben wir glaube nicht ganz 12 gehabt, 12,8.
Dann müssen wir so gehen.
Ja, ist gut.
Maar nochmal. Vielleicht ein bisschen mehr neben der Centerline. 8 Fuß.
So, Binja Feltscher here, her last stone here in the 5th end, leading 7 shots to 0. Trying to lie another one. Make it as tough as possible for Bertala to get to the shot stone. Curling nicely now. Yeah, very well played.
Now the triple is definitely there. It's the only way to score 2. Tough draw.
Well, I'm not sure about the triple, Armin, because if you get the angle right on the first one to let them both go out, then I think the second one will jam on the third one.
That's the idea. Or playing a jam.
Yeah, I think so.
The problem is with the top one's got a long way to roll across the house.
But it's all far too complicated. Instead here, a draw to the 4 foot, 1 foot circle is the order of the day for Elena Bertala.
Probably more in her wheelhouse also.
In her last, for her last stone in this 5th end.
Nice to see her make it. It's looking all right.
Well, we'll have to keep sweeping, I think.
As long as it doesn't curl too much.
It's curling like mad.
Yeah, the weight, again, she was close with the weight, but the line wasn't right. And unfortunately,
that's 3 more.
That's 3 more. And that'll make it double digits.
So with that 3-pointer, takes the score to 10-0 for the Feltscher team.
I'm sure the Finnish team won't be too devastated. I think they knew what they were getting into when you look at the draw and you're coming up against a 2-time world champion.
So end number 6, and the Feltscher team just throwing the stone through the back, and they lead 10-0 now. So the game is foregone conclusion. Just going to see whether they can score a point or 2 before the end.
That would be nice to see. And of course, Feltscher will be on the ice again tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. A very early draw, and they'll have probably a much tougher opponent than they're having right now. Looks like Fleming is maintaining that 5-2 lead over another former world champion, Bin Yuang from China. But that game's long from over. It's 5-2, still has half a game to go. And I think Betty's got a lot more in her arsenal than these Finnish ladies.
Yes, Bin Yuang was recently involved in the qualification event to go to the Olympic Games in Pilsen, Czech Republic.
They were, would have predicted them to be coming out first place in that group. I was a little surprised with the Chinese men not qualifying. I would have thought they were probably the favorites going into that competition.
Well, they were in the lead for the first several rounds, but then lost a couple of games later on.
An interesting move also from the Danish men's team, not going to the Europeans and focusing on that Olympic qualifier. So they've got the men going to the Olympics and then dropping down to the B group at the Europeans. Or down to the C even, sorry, down to the C even, yeah. So you've got one side going to the Olympics, on the other side you're in the C European group.
Oh!
Yes, that's a little bit unusual.
Ooh, there's a miss from Feltscher team. So they'll want to clean that up before they face their next team. And the Wang scores at 2. So that game's closed up again. 5-4 lead for Fleming. Sinclair's got a 5-4 lead over Kaiser from Switzerland. Sinclair from the USA. Sinclair should be a solid performer this weekend. Sidorova handily 9-2 over Schlachter, young Swiss team.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Sidorova will be looking at trying to finish the season off a lot better than she first half of the season. Didn't really go her way. Losing that qualifier to Moseva 4-1 at home after the Europeans.
Wenn eben da nachher und dann nicht kommt, dann liegt nachher gleich immer noch 3 ganz. Das ist eigentlich
Janina Lindstrom then here in the 6th end. Chance just to get round behind this guard.
She's run behind the guard. She just needs to stop at some point.
Elina.
Well, just too far really.
Over curled, it's wide open.
Ja, men det var lite för snabb, men ni hörde att jag sa att det var snabbare. Ja.
Han är ta!
Ja.
Så! Som en raknamn.
So having a go coming through this little gap, taking this stone in the back 8-foot circle out. And she's got a great line to this.
Well, it looks good.
Just a small roll.
Nej, den här. Ja, jag tror det är där någon.
Anyway, it is behind the tee line, which is a good thing from the perspective of perspective of the Feltscher team. Hansen just going to try and draw round and be in line with that stone of her opponents. And they've really struggled with the weight, Armin.
Yeah, all game, and then especially
Coming up short against opposition stones lying
Or long
in
back
shot
of the
positions,
house.
or long back of the house. Yep.
And with the aggressive curl, they really need to have that. Need to have that under control. If you can't get rocks into position, you're not going to have a much chance to win.
So 13,5. Sagen dir, wenn ich muss bremsen.
You can see from the ice being given by Bernese Feltscher just how much curl she expects the shot to take.
Ja, richtig auf. Zieh richtig fest.
Usually for these events also, they'll look at the rankings and then they'll match the first opponents. Make sure that the top teams are spread out throughout the draw, as in not facing each other too early. I'm not surprised with some of the one-sided affairs out there right now.
Yep.
Sidorov's got a similar one going on there. Pardon me?
A few big scores out there.
Yeah, that's
9-2 for Sidorova over Schlachter team from Switzerland.
Stern 9-1 over Hamilton. That game's finished.
Ja.
Although I would expect that game to have been a little closer.
Just bumping the guard, leaving it in play. But it does open the line up. But before they can get a shot to play at these two yellow stones, I think they'll find the line might be blocked up again.
Yeah. That's about the most rocks we've seen in play all game, though. Yeah, except that one where they scored 4, I guess, but they were all of one color and in the house.
Yes.
Hegner and Jensen 7-2 for Hegner.
Ja, dan gaat je nog maar zo rondom. Ja, zo dat is me dat in. Kom met dit tappen. Wenn der da aangenaam is, kom met dit tappen.
Verona 9-1 over Tanner. And so we'll see those teams dropping down into the B and C groups very quickly, and the top teams will be fighting it out. The tops of the A's and B groups are taking that long route through C.
Is het goed? Oder niet?
Ja. Kom maar op, proberen van naar 4.
Can get up to about 10 or 11 games in a weekend with a 32-team triple knockout.
Yep.
That's about 22 hours of curling over a 4-day period. Need to be in good physical condition for that. It's not only hard physically, it's also hard mentally. It's not only tactics and skill, there's also a certain amount of endurance. It's a lot of kilometers sweeping for those front ends.
So Bernese Feltscher just going to pile another stone in here on the same line if she can get it. Needs to curl a bit though.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, the bonus there was knocking the second shot in behind the guard.
Dragit lite emot med det. Det var det, han kom inte ner hit. Du kanske försöka göra... Jag skulle börja slå på den här. Ja, tycker jag. Jag skulle slå på den här då. Så att du slår på den här. Och får lite, när jag slår här, antingen slår du bort dem, du får upp den här för att kunna dra in sista stället.
Okej, lite här.
Ja, tar inte så öppnar det upp. Ja, för att hade,
Ja.
men det vill inte så, händer det nog bra. Men de vill slå på den där. Okej.
Så att vi öppnar lite.
Vi slår inte på röda.
Vi kan göra race.
På röda.
Bra, både bra. Både dåligt så får vi...
Röda.
Okej. Mari! Titta den linjen.
Vill du knacka ner?
Ja.
Hårt.
Starting.
Well, having set up the shot they wanted to play at this end, once she got to the other end she changed her mind. So
Visa primer. Nytt lag.
I don't know quite what she's up to now. Looks like she's tried to hit the stone on the yellow stone on the left hand side and roll on to the other one.
It's not the turn I would have probably picked because it doesn't accomplish much. They're all lined up behind the guards, so she's gonna have a hard time scoring her one here in this end. I would have played the out turn at that, I think. And,
Den tjatbilen, oder? Nej, dat is niet. Eben, nein, meine. Ja,
I think so, Armin.
yeah.
da liegt is niet zo snel. Ja, ik vind het wel.
However hard it was the last time, it's going to end up being maybe harder this time.
I think so. Yeah. She's gonna, like I said, she'll probably have her hard
hard
time scoring her one in this.
Dat is steut, dat je vast het herk, dan heeft het zo. Ja.
So just going to block the line in. That's where Irene Shuri's pointing with her brush where she wants the stone to land up.
Ja, met de kaart, aber ziemlich weit rechts, weil dazwischen also es nützt er nichts. Wir lassen den recht offen noch.
Being very kind here, she says we'll leave the right side open for her. This is curling. You can still be nice to your opponents.
Well, when you're 10-0 up, you can't be. So
Well,
the last stone here for Binja Feltscher in the sixth end, leading 10-0.
there are other sports, although she might not do this. That draw is open for her.
The draw is open, but it's
Well, she's going to make it.
psychologically not all that easy. You've really got to the correct line on this.
Line and wait. Forget about everything else that's laying out there.
And when you're sitting in the hack at the other end, as she is in a moment or so, then she can't see much fresh air between that front yellow stone and the red stone just short of the circles.
She needs to trust her broom and her weight.
Wow, yes, indeed.
That's all she needs to see. So everything else is irrelevant.
So, what is probably the last stone of the game, the out-turn draw. Possibility to the 4 foot, but they need to sweep it all the way. Curl at the end.
Line's good.
She's going to make the first shot though.
Line's good. Come on. Oh, look at this. See?
Well, there we go.
Yes.
1 point they score.
And the gloves will come off.
Mary Hansen.
Very well played, thank you.
And Hansen
Played.
team will
Good luck.
leave this game on a positive note.
Very well played, thank you. Thank you. Good luck.
But there was probably never any doubt from the beginning. Two-time world champion. Always going to be a tough opponent. Feltscher will come up against Fleming or Wang tomorrow morning in their next game. And we will be on at 8 o'clock again, Richard. And we will show Christensen from USA against another former world champion. Muirhead from Scotland. I'm sure that'll be a much closer game. And here we see the final score, 10-1. And if you want to see results of any of the other games going on, just go to worldcurl.com and don't forget to like us on Facebook or on Twitter or both. And of course also the WCF Facebook pages. And we will be back after this is the first draw of 10 more games to go after this, Richard, right through to Sunday. So hope to see you back again. And with that, we'll sign off for the next 40 minutes. And wish everybody a good evening or a good day wherever you are. See you in a bit.